Okay, guys, I want to do a video on this individual here. His name is Carl Lentz. He was the pastor at Hillsong New York. Hillsong is worldwide. They have many, many churches across the world. Lots of people attend. The founding pastor of this is Brian Houston. Brian Houston came out last week and said that Carl was fired for one of the reasons was a moral failure, a recent discovery of a moral failure. And as it turns out, a couple of days later, Carl, to his credit, came out and said, yeah, he was unfaithful in his marriage now. It was a big deal. He was a pastor to a lot of celebrities, including Justin Bieber. He actually baptized Justin Bieber a few years ago. Now, him and Justin Bieber had a bit of a, I don't know, it almost seemed like there's a little bit of falling out about a couple years ago, for whatever reason. Now, the Biebers were still going to the church, the way I understand it. So yeah, Carl was a big deal, and he was a pastor of a big church. He's a gifted speaker. In saying that, I want to be a little careful when I say that. Even though he's gifted, I completely and utterly did not agree with a lot of the things and the way he did things. I believe is very loose in his doctrine. I don't agree with the Hillsong stuff anymore. I come out of that. God took me out of that whole liberal church stuff. So anyway, I believe he was very loose in his doctrine. He didn't speak against abortion, didn't speak against gay marriage and all that sort of stuff. So it's just one of those liberal, modern type churches that I wouldn't recommend anybody to go to. Now, whether this man was a Christian is not up to me to decide. But I feel for him. I really do. I feel for his family even more, his kids and his wife. And I found this picture. On the internet, and I found this is a couple of days after this whole story came out. It's news all over the world. So I find it very interesting that this is how he presents himself. He's got this little bike here. I think that might be one of the electric ones. I'm not quite sure, but it's like he rides around like a teenager. That's what this looks like to me. Like he's got a little backpack on. He's got big fat wheels, and this dude's in his 40s and he's running a megachurch. Incredible. This is what, if my pastor was riding around like this, I would tell him to, grow up a little bit. So now this next picture here, this here is incredible. This here tells the whole story. My goodness, she is not pleased. This is the wife. I feel bad for her. She lost her job as well at Hillsong, and I understand that. When there's something like this, you can't, keep the wife and her. It just doesn't work like that. You gotta, feel bad for her. She's the victim in this, and she's, by all accounts, she's a wonderful woman, and now has to deal with her husband. And she's got her arms crossed. He's just not even looking at her eyes, just looking straight forward. This story's all over the world. But anyway, I would, if you go to this type of church, Hillsong or Bethel or anything like that, get out of it, please. Find yourself a good Bible preaching church. That's my recommendation to you. I'm not saying these things can't happen in those churches as well. It happens everywhere. But anyway, I thought this was an interesting story. So yeah, that's all I've got.